I'm not a vampire, not an alien. I'm not the fucking mummy, I'm a goblin.
Greetings and welcome, I am the Twisted Goblin. Today I'm a little bit more casual looking because I could. Because I'm, why the fuck not? Mostly because I don't want to go out of my house today. Because today is one of those days I'm too lazy and don't want to, get my clothes on that I do when I go out. So I'm wearing this right now. Anyway, so we're talking about Sting. Sting is this horror movie about a spider, and I have a freaking spider on my arm on this thing. I have a Black Widow spider on it. It's mostly from an album from In This Moment. So I was like, I have to give it a try. What for a guy has a spider tattoo and doesn't even watch spider movies? I mean, come on. So I watched this spider movie, and I was like, okay. It all begins with something, an event in an apartment building. I will live in an apartment, not the same apartment building kind of thing, because I live in another country, a whole other country. Well, this is in America, New York. So yeah, that's. There is this thing in the vents. We don't have vents like that, so I'm safe. I'm safe from this kind of spider. But this old woman isn't, and this old woman found the sounds weird. The sound calls the people that does pest control. They come, finds out there are more than one called upon. The guy's like, oh, you're this girl with the weird a parrot, and then he dies. Then he just dies. Then we go 4 days earlier. 4 days earlier, we meet this little girl, 11 years old, and she is going around the vents. Finds something destroyed in this building. Finds this spider. The spider ends up being an alien spider. So it's not a normal spider. It's not even one of those new species spider that we found in some country. No. This is a spider that's from an alien planet. Because why the fuck not? So she keeps it as a pet because spiders. Also because girls like weird things sometimes, and sometimes it's the spider. Sometimes we like horror things. She could be really big horror fan. Even though, after this happens, maybe she goes all the other way. Either way, she keeps it as a pet. In one little thing. I'm like, you're not gonna give it, something bigger, something more grass. If you're gonna have a pet as a spider, at least make sure it has enough space to have a spider, to have this way. Because, you cannot just pick a spider and pull it in thing, give it no food, no nothing. If you're gonna keep a spider, do your research before you have the spider, because after it's too late, because it's died or gets so hungry it's gonna eat you. I don't know how much it is, but I know there are some animals, if you normally if you feed it doesn't do anything. It goes sitting, it will not hurt you. But if you keep it, not fat, it's gonna get hungry. And if it's gonna get hungry, it's gonna be very, very not so picky what it eats. There are some animals that would freaking eat humans if they have to. Not all of them, but Anyway, so we have all of this happening. She tries at the spider while she gives it like a cockroach. Then there is in this building somebody that actually knows about spider. She's researching the spider very slowly across the movie. Then finds this guy in the building that actually is like a weirdo, but like apparently every building has a weirdo for some reason. Most likely in this apartment building I'm the weirdo, but still, it's not like every fucking movie has that. Apparently, every movie has a. If they do an apartment building movie, horror movie, it's always like it has a weirdo, it has some landlord that's a fucking asshole. We have all like every case in the thing. That's always with horror movies that do this thing. And I bit go up my goblin logo. Yeah, that's better. So we have always that kind of thing happening in every freaking building, everything that happens for some reason. There is also sometimes, this was not in this movie, but there is always this guy that cheats on the main character's wife, and the wife or the girl of the main character with another apartment to get some more in the, even though in this, you know, the main character is mostly a little girl, but there is also like, you got the parents, you got also divorce, then you have this one woman that we don't there is this landlord that's an actually evil, but also is family of the main characters, as the and then you have the grandmother that's also in here. So yeah, the landlord is really an asshole, like lots of movies do when it's an apartment building. You have also, I don't know if that's an American thing, but the landlord lives in the apartment building that I see in American movies a lot. Is this normal? Is this an actually normal thing? Because in our country, I don't see this. I mean, in my apartment building, then that isn't. The landlord, well, you know, mine is actually bought, not, you know, hired. But either way, it's like you have this in Spider-Man, the first movie. That you have this in every American movie I have seen. The landlord is in the building. Of course, my grandma has an apartment, you know, right over my building, because my grandma is a little bit more expensive. So, and also is just hiring it, and I wanted them. I wanted my own place. I wanted an apartment, you know, that's forever for me, not just here's some money. Now I have to spare for it. At least now I have this apartment is for me forever and ever. So yeah. So after all of this happening, after all, you know, they dying one for one because Sting gets bigger and bigger, not too big, but at least very big. And because Sting becomes bigger, first after going to this guy that's I was like, oh no, this guy's gonna be the villain because it wants to grow bigger. Of course, no, the guy doesn't grow. It's not becoming the villain. He becomes more than like the guy that's interesting in it, and then it gets too big, and the spider eats the guy. I felt like he was being built as the weirdo villain, but they didn't do anything with it. Just like with the landlord becoming a villain, I feel like the main characters are the only ones that have some story about him, because I feel like nothing with the other characters felt that. You had the like I said, a typical apartment building routine. Like there is an evil one, there is a weirdo one, there's those kind of fun, but nobody felt like you are going with him. The only ones I felt like I was going with was the daughter, the kid, the father that ends up being the stepfather, but the actually father is actually 20 minutes for that, but nobody has told her that her father is actually like 20 minutes from here. Nobody has told her because the father doesn't want to come, because it's a deadbeat father that doesn't want anything to do with her child. But his child, what reason is, could be every fucking reason. A reason why the child's not. I have heard lots of stories which what parents have. There are parents. There are women that, you know, baby trapped the father. It's like they say, oh yeah, I don't want kids. I never want kids. I'm never gonna have kids. Then she does like, oh, I'm on a pill, but I'm not on a pill. And then they get a baby. She doesn't want to get the baby gone. And so the kids has, or even, you know, never telling the father that he has a kid. This is like one of the worst things I feel like people do. That I feel like, oh, it's horrible. From a woman's, like a woman does. can do. Like a woman can actually like not just baby trap them, and then that's already awesome, but also not saying it at all. Having a baby of this guy that you saw once, but instead of telling it that he has a kid, they don't tell it, and so the woman has a child. The man doesn't know about it at all for years to come. He is not there for the first steps. He's not there, even though maybe he wants his child. But he never gonna know that this child is his, unless it gets so. And then one day the child wants to know, and is then blaming her. And then it's like, I got my family now. It's like that's like a horrible way to be like never able to bear it. You have a child running around, but you never did know, and now that you know, you don't know how to feel about it. But that's that's all the point of views that can be. Either way, back to the movie. The movie where Sting has been growing, has killed a few people, has gonna eat them alive because we want make this more creepy, and also it's an alien spider, so we don't know how big it can be, but it's big enough that it kills a lot of people in this apartment building, and dog and cat and guy from the inside out when it's small. When it gets bigger, it just pulls them on. She is on one thing. She has like I have said before, she has been getting information from the spider very slowly, even though like there is no real information, but it's still a spider, so it has the weakness of a spider. And so she gets some holy water-ish thing, and after her parents are gone, her little brother is gone. Now she's gonna has a water pistol, because of course she has, and she goes through it. She goes trying to save the child, also finds our stepfather, frees the stepfather. Then they fall down when she sees that Sting has become this whole very bigger than her. So they fall into the rooster, down into the basement. They are a little bit hurt. The spider crawls out. She sees it in front of her face, is surprised, scared, and everything. And then Sting is trying once again, but they also, they have the scent that makes them safer. I say safer because I feel like if you move, it's still gonna attack you. If you attack it, it's still gonna attack you. It's a little bit safer, but Sting doesn't like that scent or that. So but then also the insect, the guy that destroys the insect is there, falls down, finds out this is the spider that he see before. He is like, seriously? And then tries to fight her, towards his base on, gets against the water. Now there's only one bottle left of that holy water. That's not really holy, but I call it holy water. And the holy water is left, so there's only one holy water left. And the guy gets killed. Now the family tries to finds the kid and the mother. Now are in a trash compactor, like that destroys trash. And so they go into that thing, tries to get it on, but doesn't work. Eventually it works, but it's like, oh no, it's gonna. They try to the father tries to get it, gets electrocuted because everything was watery. Gets but enough that it starts and squishes Sting, and the spider is dead. Big feet, everything. It squeezes out one little yell, and it's dead. It's freaking dead. This spider is dead than that. And so now the family is closer than ever before, because this is what every time in horror movies it happens. So like the family or the couple is getting destroyed to each other, but because of this, because of events that happen, they get closer than ever before, being an actually family, and that's how the movie ends. Plus, there is also, because it's a horror movie, we also get this cliffhanger of X from a spider still alive and one opening, and that's how the movie ends. I like it. I think it's well done. It's a great first thing. I'm not gonna say that everything about it I liked, because I got bored and the characters are a bit blank. Because yes, you got a kid that's half spider, and that's it, and then you got a horrifying monster. But I felt like the main characters were like, I love the comics things that he was creating, and they work together. But then it's like this dysfunctional family aesthetic that they had to do. It's like, oh, they're family, they're each other, but no, they're not, because she has daddy issues. Literally, like her dad is gone. She doesn't even know where it is. She thinks, then he uses that against her by screaming out your mother, because he tries to get closer to his stepdaughter, but doesn't let her. Then there's this dysfunctional family with his tree. But then you got the other characters that are even less fun. You got the landlord that's just a mean, and it's like, you're gonna do this or just leave. And then you got the grandmother that forgets everything, so she is even less fun to, like, she forgets every fucking 5 seconds. She's even less fun to see. Like, none of the other characters feel like they're characters. They're just background for the family to interact with. And I don't feel like, I had no feelings for any of the characters when they kind of died. I'm like, okay, they died. Okay, that girl seems like something happened with her family. Like, literally in portraits of her family, like, you should keep your family close now that you have a family. But it's like, yeah, that's all we get. We don't get really much of what the rest of the characters do. I didn't feel like I was like, holy shit, yeah, I feel so sorry. But I had more emotions going with Eminem's new song. What was it again? Temporary. There's like this new song of Eminem, Temporary. I had emotions in that song. Just 3 minutes of emotions from that song. How they handled it. How Eminem has this. Eminem has like always like, fuck you, fuck this, fuck that, fuck that. Like, fuck you if you don't like it, fuck you if that. Like, you got this fuck you energy, in his songs. But then there's Temporary that really gets like what he leaves behind for his daughter, what he is that. You have that song that really got strings to my emotions. That strings from a song of 3 minutes that I'm like almost crying. I cried almost with that song. That's the emotions I want to actually be invested, and I was more invested in the song than I ever was in anything horror lately. And I felt like Strings didn't do that. It's a spider that we don't care. Vanilla spider came into this apartment random. Also, the world seems to be freezing over since this meteors of string came into place. I felt like the characters could have been better. To be more emotional, able to like the characters more. I kind of, if I would rate this, it would be like a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's out of this world. I don't think this movie is that good, but it's still like a fun watch to do when you're bored. It's one of those movies you watch when you're very bored. Yeah, that's of course, my opinion about it. You can have another opinion about it. You can like it. I hope with the second movie, if we get a second movie, it's going a bit bigger. But also with the emotions bigger. Because I want an actually character. I want characters to have emotion. I want characters to feel that you can fall in love with the characters, because this feels like you don't fall in love with them. They're just a functional family, that you have to care about or did not care about, and then you have to in the end care about, but I didn't care about at all. Yeah, I hope with the second movie if they do that, all the extra are like we get like years of past. Maybe the child that we see is like 20 years now and has his own life, and they have to remember their childhood, what the thing, and the spiders became bigger or are in the underground. Like you have literally like thousands of spiders now of this bigger. You have but you have this in the underground. They try to survive. The spiders seeing this is New York that this plays off in a bus, in a train, like a train underground, the train, and that train is stops for some reason. And then a few survivors have to, but instead of just having survivors having to survive with each other, you also get the backstory, how they came to this place, what their lives were before they came to place. But you have every character having some stuff going on happening while the spiders. If you cannot have, it's fun to see, but I also feel like you have to get invested to the characters themselves, and I didn't think I was that invested in the characters here. Crap. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my review video, everything I liked about it, everything I disliked about it, about Sting, because I like the spider aspect, but I feel like it's most of this is not the best movie that I ever seen, but I'm also not the best, video creator that anybody has ever seen. I'm bad, I guess, I'm thinking. But yeah, it was still a fun watch, and I'm glad I watched it, finally. I'm glad I say it, but I was not in the mood for this movie. I didn't think the characters were that intriguing to get me hooked on it. Yeah, that's about it. I could go on and on and on, but I feel like it's already been too long. I still like spider movies, but I feel like they could have done better, and maybe the second one will be done better when there are more spiders. Maybe we have something like in the New York station with a train not able to move, characters that we actually get invested in, because I feel like Saw 10 was what Saw X was the one that I felt like had emotions in it. You felt for the characters that are in it. You felt for, the villains were actually villains. In this one, I feel like most of the villains was not really a villain, was just an annoying character, or was somebody that they seem to build up to become a villain, but then he dies before he becomes relevant as a villain. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm the Twisted Goblin. I hope you enjoyed this little video of me talking about Sting. And yeah, goodbye, good night.
Then the days got worse and worse, and now you see I've gone completely out of my mind.